Night falls over the Black Sea with a deceptive calm, the kind that settles over Odesa just before the air raid sirens begin to wail. The city has learned the rhythm of these nights, learned to listen for the distant mechanical buzz that rides the wind before the first alerts flash on phones and streetlights dim. Along the coastline, the water reflects the moon in broken silver lines, and for a moment it feels like any other evening in a port city that has traded goods and stories for centuries. Then the warning sounds stretch into the darkness, and everyone knows that the Shahed drones are coming. They arrive low and slow, their engines emitting a persistent, uneven hum that residents have come to recognize as clearly as a familiar song. The sound is unnerving precisely because it is not loud at first. It creeps into the mind, growing steadily, as if the sky itself has learned how to whisper threats. Operators hundreds of kilometers away launch them in waves, hoping numbers will overwhelm defenses, hoping a few will slip through to strike ports, power substations, warehouses, or apartment blocks. On this night, the approach vectors point toward Odesa, a city whose strategic value is matched only by its symbolic weight. Inside air defense command posts scattered around the region, Ukrainian crews are already awake. Radar screens glow in darkened rooms, lines and dots forming patterns that tell trained eyes what kind of threat is approaching and from which direction. Officers speak in calm, clipped tones, passing target data to mobile air defense units that have repositioned throughout the evening. Trucks with mounted cannons sit hidden under camouflage nets. Portable missile teams wait in courtyards and along roads leading into the city. Electronic warfare specialists prepare to jam guidance systems if the opportunity arises. Every movement is practiced, every roll drilled through months of repetition born from necessity. The first Shaheds cross the coastline just after midnight. Their paths are erratic by design, zigzagging to complicate targeting and drain ammunition. A few climb slightly, others skim lower, attempting to blend into ground clutter. Radar operators track them anyway, merging inputs from multiple sensors to form a clearer picture. Orders ripple outward, and within seconds, searchlights snap on in distant neighborhoods, slicing white cones through the humid air. Somewhere beyond the city's lights, a cannon opens up, the rhythmic thump echoing across the water. Tracers arc upward like strings of fiery beads, curving toward an unseen target. The sound of gunfire is followed by a sharp crack as a drone meets its end, the explosion brief and contained, the wreckage tumbling into the sea. Cheers are muted professional satisfaction rather than celebration. There is no time to linger. More targets are inbound, more dots appearing on screens, more buzzing engines threading toward the city from different angles. On the ground, civilians move with quiet efficiency. Families gather in hallways away from windows, children clutching backpacks prepared weeks ago. Shopkeepers pull down shutters and retreat into basements that double as shelters. In one apartment block, an elderly couple listens to the radio by candlelight, counting the seconds between explosions, measuring distance by sound. The city does not panic, it endures, a testament to a population that has adapted without surrendering its humanity. As the wave thickens, Ukrainian defenders escalate. A mobile missile team relocates to a clearer line of sight, guided by updates crackling over secure radios. A launcher locks on, the tone steady, then a streak of light leaps skyward. The missile finds its mark, and the drone disintegrates in a flash that briefly illuminates low clouds. Debris rains harmlessly into a field beyond the suburbs. Another target drops moments later, claimed by a different unit, the coordination seamless despite the chaos. The Shaheds keep coming. Operators have mixed decoys into the wave, simpler drones designed to draw fire and reveal positions. Air defense commanders adjust, prioritizing based on trajectory and payload estimates. Electronic warfare units flood the airwaves with interference, attempting to sever links or confuse navigation. Some drones wobble, their paths faltering, before spiraling into the ground far from any target. Each neutralized threat feels like a small victory, but the night is long, and the defenders know that complacency is the enemy. Over the harbor, the sky becomes a lattice of light and sound. Naval air defense contributes from anchored vessels, their systems integrated into the broader network. The sea carries the echo of explosions, and for a moment, the Black Sea itself seems to be holding its breath. Fishermen who once set out before dawn now wait for the all, clear, their boats tied up, their livelihoods paused by the demands of survival. A particularly dense cluster of drones approaches from the northwest, skirting the coastline before turning inland. This is a classic tactic, one designed to exploit terrain and mask approach. Ukrainian controllers respond by shifting assets, calling in a reserve unit that has been kept quiet until now. The team deploys quickly, setting up near a warehouse district, the operators hand steady despite the stakes. When the order comes, they fire, and the result is immediate. 2 drones vanish in quick succession, their explosions overlapping like thunderclaps. Still, a few manage to get closer than anyone would like. One slips through a gap, descending toward an industrial area. Sirens wail again, louder now, urgency rising. A gun crew swivels their mount, tracking the sound by ear as much as by instrument. The drone emerges from behind a building, and the crew opens fire at point blank range. The drone shatters, fragments scattering across empty streets, leaving scorch marks on concrete, but no casualties. The crew exhales, then reloads, scanning the sky for the next threat. The hours pass in a blur of alerts and engagements. Coffee grows cold in command centers, replaced by adrenaline and focus. Reports come in from neighboring regions, each confirming successful interceptions, each reinforcing the sense that the defense is holding. The numbers are tallied quietly, not as boasts but as metrics of survival. Every intercepted drone is one less explosion, one less fire to fight, one less family displaced. As dawn approaches, the final drones are dealt with. The sky lightens, revealing wisps of smoke drifting over the outskirts where wreckage fell. Birds begin to stir, tentative at first, then bolder as the silence stretches. The all clear is issued, and Odesa exhales as one. People emerge from shelters, blinking in the early light, checking messages, sharing updates with loved ones. Emergency crews fan out to inspect sites where debris landed, their vehicles weaving through streets that have once again escaped serious harm. In the aftermath, the scale of the defense becomes clear. Dozens of drones destroyed, not by a single system or hero, but by a layered network of people and machines working in concert. The success is not accidental. It is the result of constant adaptation, of lessons learned under fire, of international support translated into practical capability. It is also the product of resilience, of a society that has refused to normalize fear even as it has learned to live with it. In a small apartment overlooking the harbor, a young student writes in a notebook documenting the night as part of a personal ritual. She notes the times of the sirens, the sounds of explosions, the feeling of relief at dawn. She writes because she wants to remember, because memory is a form of resistance. Down the street, a baker unlocks his shop and begins kneading dough, determined that the morning will smell like bread rather than smoke. These acts, mundane and profound, are the quiet victories that follow the louder ones in the sky. The defenders do not linger on praise. Equipment is checked, ammunition counts updated, damaged components flagged for repair. Briefings are held, analyzing what worked and what can be improved. The enemy will study the same night, looking for weaknesses, planning adjustments. The cycle will continue, but so will the response. For every new tactic, there is a counter, refined through experience and shared knowledge. As news spreads, images circulate of intercepted drones and calm streets at sunrise. The narrative is not one of spectacle, but of competence. Odesa stands because its defenders stood watch through the night, because citizens trusted the systems in place, because preparation met threat head on. The city's history is long, marked by sieges and storms, and this chapter adds another testament to its endurance. The Black Sea resumes its daily rhythm, waves tapping against piers as if nothing had happened. Cargo schedules are adjusted, life inches forward. The memory of the night lingers, not as paralyzing fear, but as a reminder of what vigilance looks like. The hum of shot engines fades from immediate memory, replaced by the sounds of a waking city, but the lessons remain etched into routines and resolve. In the end, the story of the night is not just about drones blasted out of the sky. It is about coordination under pressure, about technology guided by human judgment, about a city that refuses to be defined by the threats it faces. Odesa fended off the attack because it had to, because the alternative was unacceptable, and because the people who call it home believe that every dawn earned is worth the effort of another long night on watch.